And who are we going to give the firearms to? Huh? Is it every guard? No. Tumelewana? We are going to give a certain category of people based on the risk assessment that we have done and taken. So the first area is for the guards who are going to guard key strategic public installations, yeah, where there is heavy human traffic.
We're just going to arm a certain category of people. Kenyans have very little to worry about. So that is Fazul Mohammed, the Private Security Regulator Authority. He's the director there. And we're having a conversation about securing the nation. Is it about arming guards? Is it about the media? Is it about the public? Where does the buck stop? So we've been speaking to Isaac Ndabwa from the National Private Security Workers Union and Enoch Makanga, who's the chair, Protective and Safety Association of Kenya. Enoch, what are your thoughts? Ndabwa says these private security guards are the first line of defense. This is the only way we can ensure that if we have an attack such as the one we had in Dusit, then they'll be able to respond, fast responders on the scene. What are your thoughts?
Okay, we welcome the idea of an association. Unfortunately, we have some reservations because we have so many security companies.
I am struggling to hear you, so give me a few minutes as I try to fix your microphone, sir. Mr. Ndabwa, the concern that people have out here is not about whether or not these individuals are armed. It is about what sort of training do they go through? How long will this take? And is this the best alternative right now?
I think there is the notion that people tend to fear actually arming the cars, the idea of arming the cars. But I want to tell them that there is an act already in place, and this act is clear that the cars will undergo vigorous training. And as Enoch Makanga was trying to put it, we are not going, or we don't intend to arm every card, the 500,000.
What's the criteria going to be?
The criteria is this. There are specific assignment that requires for actually a gun. Like, for example, those are the malls I had mentioned earlier. A place like Dusit Hotel, Serena Hotel, banks, and sensitive installments. But we are not saying every card in the sector is going to be armed, no. And again, Linda, I want to also tell you one thing. Apart from the issue of giving the private security guns, there is this, what we call sharing intelligent information with other security organs. This one is, again, another important area. You can have a gadget and a uniform authority or the police or a security. There is some instant, some character, some bad guy, suspicious character behaving in this manner in a particular place, so that the security agents can rush to that scene and take care of this, take control. So it is not just about giving everybody a gun, as people are trying to.
Yeah. It's interesting that you say it will depend on where someone is guarding. Shouldn't it depend on the ability of someone to actually handle a gun psychologically?
Yes. In fact, I was heading there. What I'm saying, Linda, a security guard who is actually guarding Nairobi Hospital should be differently trained as you compare to the security guard who is guarding commercial bank. What I'm trying to say, the private security officer at Nairobi Hospital should be trained more on the issues of first aid. Like you remember when we had teacher strike, doctor strike, there was a private guard in Webuye who assisted a pregnant women to deliver. So you see, a particular assignment will call for a specific training of a particular card. Not every card, like Fazul is talking about the CID, cash on transit. Those who carry money from a particular point A to point B. Why should that private security officer carry money, a lot of billions of money, without actually being armed? It means whatever he's carrying is at risk, plus himself. So it is important that as much as we talk about arming the cars, we are not talking about just arming everybody, every Tom and Dick and John and Harry in the sector. And that will only take place after specific training. And as I told you earlier, the act is clear that they will receive specific training, vigorous training, and even vetting of the individual card. They'll even go to an extent of actually going for medical checkup and maybe psychological and maybe thinking critically to analyze. Are they able to carry maybe a gun? Are they suffering from a certain element before? Those are the issues. But for advantage is that the act is there, and we are not worried about actually entering into this new arrangement of security.
So all that will be done at whose expense? Private security firms?
It is a full-fledged authority, which is actually within the Ministry of Interior. But remember, 500 private security officers cannot be trained by an individual employer. What is important is the government, and I'm sure the government is on progress of actually coming up with a particular relevant curriculum. So when the government develop a curriculum to train the private security officers, I'm sure the KK security company has got its own training. I'm sure the G4S have got its own training. So they will share that type of training so that the training is styled up to meet the challenges of the insecurity that we are now facing in the current scenario.
Okay.
Yeah.
Can Mr. Makanga hear me now?
I hope I'm clear now.
Yes, I can hear you. I can hear you. Good to have you back to this conversation. So your quick reaction to what Mr. Ndabwa has just said in the last couple of minutes. I'm hoping you could hear him.
Okay, as a Protective and Safety Association of Kenya, we welcome the idea of arming the guards. However, we've got some reservations on the following issues. Number one, Linda, I want Kenyans to know that a gun is not a djembe. A gun is not something that you just wake up in the morning and you say that people have to be trained and be given guns. No, 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 no. We want this thing to be done in a more organized way. And before that is done, we would like security companies to be brought up to bar. There are security companies that are below bar. The guys who are paying guys 8,000, the guys who are paying guys 5,000, 4,000, these are the people we want them to come up to the bar. So that at the end of the day, they're able to meet the minimum requirements. Now, when it comes to training, if a police officer is trained for 9 months, and during that 9 months, he's trained every day on handling a firearm. So I'm just wondering where rocket science will be used to train our security guards within no time, and these guards are able to be able to
They've said 6 months. They've said 6 months.
Yes. For example, somebody was talking about Uganda. Let's keep Uganda and Rwanda out of this story because Uganda's case is very different. They have a different history. Guards are trained on patriotism 3 months before they come join any security company. So at the end of the day, what we are looking at, we are saying, we would like a situation where, first of all, the guards who are identified are properly trained, and we are talking about serious training that will take at least 3 months. Then from there, I think now we can now pick on the idea of them being armed. And then from there, it will be the sole responsibility of every security company to be able to manage those guns. Second issue is the issue of where will the guns be kept? Because, for example, if you go to a country like Rwanda, if you want to arm guards as a security company, one requirement is you must have an armory. And that armory must meet what we call international standards, where somebody cannot come to your office and breaks into your office and is able to take guns. So these are issues that we need us to be engaged as owners of security companies. We discuss them. Then from there, we come up with the minimum requirements before this matter of arming the guards is actually rolled out. Because at the end of the day, what I know is company owners have not been engaged. And if they are engaged, then we should be able to give solutions. And we come up with a very good watertight method of making sure that these guns are not used as a tool to be able to bring insecurity as opposed to the main objective of securing the nation.
So if we fix the armory, if the armory is fixed and if the training is fixed, this is an idea that you may be open to?
Exactly.
Okay. So, Mr. Ndabwa, let's talk about, there have been concerns raised about vetting of these particular security firms. Which security firm are you going to get to a point and say, okay, your guards can't get guns? Is that a process that has already begun, or is it a process that maybe you're considering, vetting all the private security companies afresh?
I think, Linda, I want to take you to the Private Security Regulation Authority. The worries that Makanga is trying to raise here and your concerns are squarely captured in this document here. Maybe you have not had time to go through this document. Everything is there, even in terms of the period that one is supposed to be trained, it's there, it's captured there. And
6
remember,
months, I know.
And remember, after the act, now Mr. Fazul has already shared the rules to govern, to regulate the sector, which are already been given a note by the AG, and Makanga as one of the employers. You should know, very soon, Mr. Fazul is set to meet all the employers. He began with the workers last Friday, and I'm sure this Thursday is meeting with all employers. And what I want to tell Makanga, a process of reform is a process. There is nobody who has said he wants to arm the guard tomorrow. Nobody is talking about tomorrow. We are saying time is right for the private security to have guns. Reasons, they are the first persons on line of defense. And two, putting into consideration the scenario of terrorists and so forth. You cannot be protecting life and property and you are just, yourself, you are exposed. So, I want to urge people like my friend Enoch Makanga and the rest who are looking at this scenario as a threat to maybe to 1 or 2. Even the US world superpower, they have guns all over. But you see, there are some cases of isolation whereby you find somebody has maybe gone to shoot even the innocent school children. So we do agree that we are not introducing the issue of guns as to do experiment. The guns or tools of dread will be given to specific persons under certain specific assignment, not every card across the country. And I was also looking at the issue of Kenya. Kenya, in terms of our economy, you cannot compare Kenya with Uganda and Tanzania and Ethiopia. So if Kenya is ahead in terms of economy, we need to again to embrace foreign investors if our security is properly taken care of. We are having a challenge of the unemployment in this country. The only way we can again attract employment is by actually assuring investors that there is enough security in this country.
Okay.
Yeah.
I need to sample just a few of feedback on social media because I want them to be part of this show. I want them to be part of this conversation. At XJEI says, facts. Number one, not all guards will be armed. Two, only key installations will have armed guards. 20% of guards are trained or retired police officers. Checks and training will be done and certified. Continuous M&E of guards, use of guns and annual renewals, I support. Charles Baitha says, we are now experiencing homegrown terrorism. All these kids who turned their backs on us had one thing in common, a dysfunctional family. As we debate on weapons of choice, let's remember we need to come up with a mechanism that monitors and helps affected children. Nyakena says, in Dubai, there are no security guards. You cannot see security guards who are armed. So I'll let you have the final word, Makanga, even as we conclude this conversation on arming security guards. You have 30 seconds.
We are not saying that guards should not be armed. What we are saying, let's have a process where the stakeholders are engaged. Let's have a process where the company security directors are engaged. Let's have the security managers who are end users are engaged. Let's have the union engaged. Then from there we come up with a process that is watertight, that at the end of the day, the arming of the guards does not become an elephant in the house in the process of pretending that we are securing the nation. Yeah.
Great way to end this show. Thank you so much for speaking to us, for being part of this big story this evening. This is a conversation that doesn't end here. Trust me, lots of stakeholders need to be involved as well. A very big thank you to Joseph Kaguthi, who earlier on spoke to my colleague Sophia Wanuna. A big thank you as well to Isaac Ndabwa from the National Private Security Workers Union, and Enoch Makanga, who's the Chair, Protective and Safety Association of Kenya, Mlinda Ogutu. Akisa Wandera and Yusuf Ibrahim are up next on KTN Prime. Have a good evening.